Hello, so welcome to the Scorpio season reading. We've got three piles. We've got rose quartz on the left, we've got aventurine in the middle, and then we've got malachite on the right. So if you just want to focus and decide which crystal you'd like to go for. Okay, so these are the cards that you picked, and let's get on with the reading. Hello, so welcome to pile one. So the first card is this one, and it's got information on the back. So within each of us there is a masculine and feminine aspects, and in order to have perfect harmony with these two aspects should be equally balanced. When our masculine, positive and judgmental side is equally balanced with our feminine, negative and compassionate side, then we are in a perfect alignment with our true nature. To achieve this balance, we must embrace, love and value both the positive and the negative of our nature. And I think that's quite interesting that is with the rose quartz. So these are heart and soul. They're oracle cards for kind of personal growth and transformation. And again, they're beautiful pictures, and I like the heart shape as well. Then the second card that we've got is this one, and Akasha, I think I've pronounced that right, with a beautiful image. It's got water, it looks like a divine temple, you've got steps leading up to it. It could even be seen as kind of entering heaven. So this one, guidance is divinely guided. So Akasha exists in the fifth dimension, and the library of souls. Also contracts, history, gifts, lessons and more exist here. We each have to access this information of the past, present and future, and can tap into it at any time. While we have free will, there's also points on the timeline of our lives that are predestined or pre-planned. Soul contracts or agreements that were made before incarnating. It could be a company that you choose to work for. It could be a relationship you plan to have, or a person you agree to mentor or help. Whatever it is, know that it is divinely guided and will not bypass you. So if you're waiting for a sign to proceed, this card is it. You are likely living out an important part of your soul's journey, and you are exactly where you need to be. This is very exciting. It's time to call in the support of your helpers, both in the physical realm and the spiritual world, to trust the signs coming, to take note of your dreams, to notice any feelings or visions that you receive, for you are tapping into the wisdom of Akasha, and you are being given the go-ahead to proceed. Now, I've had an Akashic reading. It was a hypnotherapy, and it was magnificent. So obviously you go through the meditation and things come to you. I met a couple of guides, and I was in a situation when I was 19, and one of them gave me a hug, and one of the people that I saw had very deep blue eyes, and it was like they were so calm. It was like looking into the ocean. But it's a really interesting project. I'm trying to think of the word. It's a really interesting hypnosis or reading to have. Maybe I could do one actually. Interesting. But yeah, so soul contracts, a lot of these can come out in relationships. So you might be in a relationship and you feel like you know this person. This can be romantic or not romantic, but there can be something that karmically needs to be resolved. So maybe you didn't resolve it in a past incarnation, and sometimes they can be very, very difficult, and you can feel really bonded to this person, and it's not always an easy situation. And it's interesting, it said about jobs as well. I thought that was really interesting. I've never looked at it in that perspective. But if it's in a relationship, it can be both of you have a lesson to learn. Maybe you both need to listen to each other. Maybe you both need to open your heart. Maybe at work, maybe you need to have a voice. Maybe you need to listen at work. I don't know. Maybe it's realizing that what you are doing is not what you're destined to do. And maybe in a previous incarnation, you basically had to do that job because there was no other option. But yeah, they're really, really interesting because, and difficult. I've gone through a couple. But then I do think that it's a period to help you grow as well. And then the next card is from The Universe Has Your Back, which is this one. So when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. So again, that's about trusting. That's about trusting the process, trusting that the universe has your back, which is the name of these cards. And that's not always an easy process. And maybe you're looking for answers, like with this one. Maybe there's something that you're not sure about, your next move, where you're going to go. And I think that's telling you yes. And also with the first one, we've got the masculine and the feminine to create balance. And obviously all of us have these energies. So maybe it is about love with this one. Maybe it's about trusting the process. Maybe it's you're in a relationship and it could be a soul contract, and there's things that you need to work together to overcome, to release this like karmic, I was going to say debt, but I don't know if I like that, because many years ago when I was in Israel for the second time, there was a nurse and she taught, I didn't know much about karma then because I was 20 at the time, I think, or 21. And she said to me, she went, if you find that you meet in having similar relationships, not necessarily the same person, but similar situations, similar relationships, then it's kind of karma. And if it's something that you don't necessarily like or want, then she said it's kind of like you maybe be called to break that cycle, which I thought was really interesting. So maybe this is in a relationship, maybe it's a new one, and it doesn't feel, you feel scared, for example, it could be. Maybe it's time to address that, whatever that karmic debt is, whatever that soul contract is, to be able to push through it. Or maybe it's a job as well. Maybe it's something that you're doing in your life to please other people. So that's interesting. And then after that, we've got the Everyday Witch and we've got the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is you're not quite there. So you can see that tree is full of apples. It's abundant. She's kind of sat there. She's reading her book. She's relaxing with a glass of wine. So the Pentacles are a lot to do with like your jobs, the physical world, money, career, more practical things. And she's very relaxed. So maybe you can you're not quite there at the 10. The 10 is like ultimate fulfillment, and you've kind of reached whatever the pinnacle is for you. So maybe you're striving to get there. Maybe if it's a relationship, you're wanting that security, that commitment, that, the ultimate in happiness, if security is what you need, emotional security, financial security. If it's with your job, it could also be as well, if you're not happy in the job that you're doing, but you're looking at the security, which is fine, but then I suppose you have to weigh up if it gives you that fulfillment. But anyway, this is a really good card. It's a really fulfilling card. And it's also kind of saying you can relax a little bit as well. Enjoy the fruits of your labour, because she is. I mean, she's waiting. I don't actually know what they are. They look like apples, but they could be oranges. But she's kind of waiting for the harvest. So you're there. You're nearly there. So it's positive. It's a positive move forward. So I hope you enjoyed that message. And I'm going to move on to message 2 now. Hi, so welcome to message or pile 2, which is Aventurine. So the first card was this one. We've got a picture of the yin and the yang. Beautiful picture. And the message for this one, it's on the other side. I come to awaken sleeping hearts. Like a bolt of lightning from the astral world, I appear as inspiration, a dream, or an idea. I fill your heart with creative light and illuminate your mind, so that the universe and all creation can find a space within your soul. This is a time for dreaming big, and the possibilities are endless. Wow, that's beautiful. I've just been really drawn actually to her earring, which is, it looks like malachite and maybe rose quartz, but yeah, I thought that was lovely. Then the next one from Work Your Light is Trust the Niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Okay. I've never actually pulled this card before from this deck, from Work Your Light Oracle deck, so it'll be interesting to see what this card means. Okay, so that niggling feeling, that annoying niggling feeling, that inconvenient, annoying niggling feeling, try as you might, it's there and it ain't going anywhere. Most people spend years ignoring their niggling feelings, throwing their best dollops of stubbornness, ego and post-rationalization to numb them out. It's exhausting. Until you face the niggle, your life throws you more hot bait to awaken it. Draw your attention to the light within you that is bursting to come out. The niggle is an arrow pointing to what is standing in your way. The relationship, the conversation, the decision, the shift that needs to be made, the stone in your shoe. Often we feel the niggling feeling in our body first. Many people think that intuition is something from the higher realms, but in fact, it is the body that is the intuitive one. Working through our senses to deliver vibrational information, it takes just a moment every day to scan your body to receive the intuition, intelligence, and to act on this quickly. You're being called to face the niggle now. If you don't face it, the universe will throw something much bigger and more obvious in your path, and then you will likely regret that you didn't answer the niggle in the first place. I know it's scary, but you are safe. Answer the niggle. Now, that is quite interesting. Now, it's kind of interesting, isn't it, that the first card describes like a lightning bolt and about inspiration and about illumination and the universe trying to illuminate you. And then this one is the universe is putting things in your path. It wants you to listen. So I think that's quite interesting that they are together. I know from personal experience, I always wanted to be doing this. I always wanted to do it for a job. But this was before online. It was before we had so much access to everybody in the world. And I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And I was a single mum with a child. So I did do bits of things, but I just knew that this is what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how. And I knew that I needed to get out of a job. And again, I just didn't know how to do it. You know, I had a mortgage, a child, still have a child. So my body was screaming at me to make a decision. And I do think when you think about this card and think about whatever the niggle is, where do you feel it in your body? Now, I ended up getting really ill. I got an autoimmune condition which affects the throat chakra, and I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel listened to. My creativity was stifled. So I started a big journey of healing, and particularly healing the throat chakra and being more creative, writing, making things. I make jewelry and kind of starting to make steps to be doing this basically. So I think it's interesting where it is, and and there was also a generational aspect that was happening this year. I think it could have been Pluto. So me and my friendship group all had, like, one friend left a marriage, another one moved. For me, it was getting sick and it was leaving a job that I'd had for a long time. So it was basically the universe was kind of gave us that push, that gentle push. Because I'm a strong believer, if you don't always listen, your body will tell you. Your body will tell you, or life something will happen. In my case, I got very ill, so I've had to listen in a big way, because an autoimmune condition is basically your body is kind of attacking itself, really, your immune system. And, you know, I was very unwell and on medication, but now I don't take medication, but I do also have to manage my energy, so I have to listen still. I also try to have a voice in different ways. I try to speak up to people. Certain relationships have drifted away, and I just think it's all divinely guided. And that was my experience. That might not be the case for everybody, but as I said in the previous message, maybe again it's your career or where you live. It's just the country you live in, it just doesn't feel right, but you're not sure what to do. Then, you know, I would listen, and listen to where it is in your body. You know, which energy center. Is it your stomach? Is it your throat? Is it your heart? Your head? What is your body trying to tell you? Or it could be anywhere else in your body, because that's the thing with Reiki as well, is that your body, when our emotions are trapped in our spiritual, physical and mental bodies, we can become ill, or we can develop certain conditions. For example, you know, you might have lower back pain, which you might have chronic headaches or migraines, but generally I think it's like energy that's trapped in our bodies. So somatic work is very important as well to release this. And then the next card we've got is this one, which is I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. So again, that consciousness can be very subjective. So consciousness to some people is meditating, is going on a retreat, but being conscious can just literally be being conscious when you're doing anything, like when you go for a walk, being conscious of the walk. What can you hear? Listen to your breath. If you're doing your work, consciously focus on what it is that you're doing. So that's a nice message. That's how I interpret it. Obviously you might interpret it different. And then interestingly, we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Now the aces are always beginnings. It's always the start of something new. And in this case with the Pentacles, it can be a new job. So if that is something that you're wanting, it's a new job, a new financial situation, a new start. And I was going to say a new dawn, because I don't know whether that is a sunrise, but it looks like a sunrise to me. Yes, it's generally a job or security, but it's just the spark. It's all just new. It can be a new relationship as well. If it's a relationship, it would be more secure, more stabilizing. But it's the start of a new period. So it could be a new, once you've listened to the niggle and realize what it is, then it's a new path, a new direction for you, and a new direction that is going to bring you a lot of happiness and a lot of abundance. So I feel that this is kind of work-wise. That's just my interpretation. I don't want to project onto it, but it's more about listening, is this one. Listening to that inspiration, listening to the universe, going within and getting quiet and journaling to help you listen to that niggle and move forward. And when you do move forward, it will be successful. It will be a wonderful start and a wonderful new beginning for you. So I hope you enjoy this reading and for the Scorpio season. So now I'm going to move on to the next pile. So welcome to pile 3, which is malachite. Beautiful stone. It's good for transformation. It can be quite, I was talking to a lady on Sunday at a spiritual fair about this stone, and it can be quite triggering for not necessarily you who's wearing it, but because it amplifies, it can be kind of triggering for other people. So they might start, she said to me actually, which I've never thought about this stone, that when she wears it, it's very powerful, and she kind of attracts people who are not always being very nice. And I said, I wonder if it's because it's so powerful, because it's transformational, if it's kind of triggering healing in these people. So she doesn't wear it very often. But yeah, it's just a good stone for the heart chakra, but it's like I say, it can be really kind of transform a lot of deep healing in ourselves and others. Okay, so I'll get started. So the first card again is the heart and soul. We've got this one, which is a beautiful image. Kind of looks very autonomous as well. Okay, so this card is, you may not be aware of it yet, but a tapestry full of positive outcomes and spiritual blessings now permeates your aura. The grey clouds have lifted, replaced by soft, radiant light. The past will soon be behind you. Let it go. Embrace the positive times ahead. Ooh, so that's good. And it kind of does correspond with the other ones as well. So if the Libra season has been a little bit more difficult for you, then I suppose this is showing that whatever you've been doing, been healing, working on yourself, moving forward, things are going to start to progress, and things are going to start getting a lot better for you as well. More positive times ahead. So I'd love to know if you do kind of write your intentions, because in the group that I'm in, the Queendom, we write kind of goals for the season, and it's and then you can review it afterwards. So it'd be for the month. So it'd be interesting to know if you have any particular goals that you've set yourself for November, and then to review them afterwards. Okay. Oh, I think I've seen this card before, so I don't really want to mess up the name. Mintaken. I'm sorry if that's the wrong pronunciation. So it's longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. So there, as you can see, she's sat there. She looks like a mermaid. I don't know if she is a mermaid, but she looks like one. And she's looking at oh wow, they're so beautiful, of these pictures. Yeah, they're just absolutely divine. So this one is, oh gosh. This is a small group who originated on a planet in the constellation Orion. They were the first star beings to travel to Earth and believed to be the original light workers. Their home planet is thought to have been a water world with water so pure that you could see through it for miles. For this reason, they feel most at home or most at peace when they are around crystal clear water. They are here to teach us to see the potential in everything and the light in all beings, and have longed for their home and struggle with feeling like they don't belong. It's thought that this is due to their home planet no longer being in existence. If you pull this card, it could mean that you are longing for a sense of belonging, and a root chakra healing is necessary for you to feel safe and secure. Perhaps you feel this longing to find home without knowing where it is, or perhaps you're moving around a lot and yearn for a place on Earth to call your own. If so, you are being called to connect with Mother Earth and create it for yourself now, to choose where you most feel at home and create it, rather than waiting for the feeling of belonging to come. Oh wow, that's lovely. That's really lovely, is that? And interestingly, it talks about the root chakra, because the root chakra obviously is, it's security, it's feeling safe, it's belonging, and obviously the opposite to the earth is water, because each element kind of corresponds with each other. The earth needs water to grow, and the earth is quite stabilizing for water as well. So maybe you need to do some root chakra work. But as the card said, if you're traveling, and it's interesting, I've always felt more connected in other countries, not in my birth country. So particular countries have stood out, and I had this feeling for such a long time, and I used to call it itchy feet, because I wanted to go away again. And sometimes it could be really difficult because I just didn't want to be where I was living, but practically that wasn't always possible. At the minute, I'm happy to be where I am. I like the house that I'm in, actually. When I pulled a card for the house when I moved in, because obviously I pulled a tarot card, I got the Ace of Cups. So it was a new emotional time and experience. And I felt, even though life hasn't always been easy since I've lived in this house, I've always felt very emotionally grounded is not the right word. I've just felt that this house is right. And I love the house. I love what I can do to it. And I feel very safe here. And more spiritually connected, I suppose, as well. But I do still want to go and travel, or spend at least some time overseas and part of the time here. But in all honesty, I kind of asked this question the other day. I don't know where. I suppose I'd just have to try it out, which might be cool. Yeah, I don't know where I'd want to be. I would want to be near water, because water's very cleansing. I mean, how beautiful does that look? It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? I also have pets as well, so I might only be able to go away for short periods. So I'm 50 next year, and I want to be able to do as many things as possible. So if it means just going for a short while, then so be it. But yeah, so anyway, we're not talking about me, but that's just an example of longing for somewhere. And it is a lot easier now to be able to travel and spend time in places. Obviously, for me being in England and we've left Europe, that has kind of stopped potentially living in Europe if that's what I wanted to do and other people want to do. But you can do it, but just for shorter periods. So sometimes there are practicalities, obviously, that we can't manifest our way around, for example, or navigate round. But I do think there's just so much possibility for us now, isn't there? And, you know, for example, I've been looking into pet travel with, or if you've got a house, maybe you think, oh, I can't go, but then you can rent the house out. Maybe it's like a job, but then a lot of people work remotely, so you can do that. So there's just, I think sometimes there's just so many infinite possibilities. I just wonder sometimes, and I say this in a collective we can kind of get in our own way sometimes. But yeah, so that's all I will say about that. And then the next card, oh, they're so wonderful. All the cards that I have, I love, but these are great. So that's the next one. And I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. So that's nice. So these cards are all about moving from fear to love, because love is a much higher vibration. Love is, you know, they said, what, you know, love could rule the world. You know, love is just, it's caring for people, it's nurturing people. It's the opposite of war, isn't it? Make love, not war. So yeah, I think this is lovely. So again, it's about being mindful. So if you're feeling that longing, or you don't feel that you belong and you need to ground, then maybe when you go for a walk, really connect with what you can hear, connect with the earth. Earthing is very good. Maybe just really kind of listening. A lot of these cards are all about listening, and it's interesting because Scorpio is about feeling, isn't it? You know, it's a water sign, it's very deep, it's ruled by Pluto. So maybe this season is about giving yourself the opportunity to really tune into yourself, really like connect with those emotions, and also maybe the shadow emotions as well. And you know, Scorpio is all about death and rebirth and transformation, and so it'd be interesting to see if this month, or this season, should I say, is if there's a lot of transformation going on. And then we've got the Six of Wands, which is a lovely card. It's all about celebrating yourself. So it's about, as you can see, she's kind of giving roses to everybody and everyone's applauding her and everyone looks happy. So this is like, you've done really well. You've done really well to get where you are. You've done really well in your job, your life, you know, so even though you might be feeling this kind of longing or not quite sure where you are, also congratulate yourself as well, because you've done so well. You've achieved so much, and celebrate you. You know, pat yourself on the back, because it's not something that we do very often. We don't often celebrate ourselves and say, wow, I've done so well. So this is about that. It's about celebrating you and celebrating what you've achieved. So I'm not quite sure intuitively what this pile is about. I think it could be about life, which is very vague, but I'll let you decide how it relates to you. But I just really appreciate that you've watched these messages, and have a wonderful Scorpio season.